Well, that wasn't the right intro, but we'll take it.
Let-
I don't know where the
So-
morning spike one is. I'm not used to running the show.
You know what? That's okay. You're doing a great job, man. You know,
I'm Mark.
we have a
I'm here
great
with
show.
Alec. We are here with
We
the
have a
Dynasty
great-
Pylons morning spike here on Sunday, a little later than normal. We are here. We're gonna go over some news, and then we got a mock draft. If you want to explain what the mock draft is.
Sure. First and foremost, it's good to be here, my guy. It's good to be back. I'm glad I just made it just in the nick of time from my plane. So I am tired as can be, but I'm here to go. We don't need no whack ass Falcon fan here or whack ass Bears fan here. This is a NFC East building only. Let's go.
There's the right intro.
Exactly. Well, last time I'm on the show now. But no, the mock today is a pretty cool one we got today, guys. Just to make it short and sweet and simple, it is a PPR IDP Dynasty mock. If you join our mock now, you will see the IDP scoring below in that mock. So you got, and we're just doing starters today. So, you know, it's 16 rounds of fun, pure just starters who you think are the best of the best.
I like it. It has a little extra to it sometimes because, you know, sometimes you want to stack up on a position, but you're like, it's only starters.
Correct.
If I do that, I'm going to be missing out. Yeah, Zion, Birds fans are ready.
Let's go.
I'm pumped.
Welcome in, buddy.
There you go. The link is in there if you guys want to join.
Absolutely.
Fly, Eagles, fly. Call the show the afternoon spike.
Pretty much.
Well, on the East Coast. If you're on the West Coast, it's still 9 in the morning. So, you know.
This is true. This is true.
What's up, Jamie? And then we got Jamie working, so can't pay that much attention. Yeah,
that's fine. That's fine.
Just a mock draft. So.
Exactly.
We got 4 people in here already. We got just a couple more spots.
Yep.
Until things fill, we go over some news. Omar Khan was extended for 3 more years in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So you can fleece the Bears some more. So
there you go.
Not bad. Speaking of Omar Khan and the Steelers, apparently, while the Steelers haven't come out and said that they're fielding calls or they're even interested in trading, apparently teams are blowing up the Steelers' phones to see if TJ Watt will be there.
Which I think is easy. I mean, they're not going to trade TJ Watt.
I would think not. They've come out and said over and over again they want him to retire as a Steeler, but I mean, in this day and age, it just doesn't happen that much anymore.
No, it doesn't. But I think TJ Watt still has plenty of years left in him.
I think he still has 5.
Yeah, 6. I mean, there's
he might regress a little bit starting now, but I mean, when you're as good as he is, even if you regress, you're still top 10.
Yeah, 5. he's arguably the best defensive end in the whole league, just because of how disruptive that he can be. You can put him anywhere on a D line.
Exactly. I mean, he's definitely earned to get them because he's asking for Myles Garrett type money, and like we said before the show, he definitely deserves it.
100%. So
I mean, even though he's only won it once, I think we all know he should at least have 3 defensive player of the years at this point.
Yeah. So I mean, if you are to trade TJ Watt, what is your asking price? Because I heard
I was going to get to that too. Like, what is the asking price for TJ?
Yeah, because the only thing that I've heard from one of the supposedly interested teams, being my Philadelphia Eagles, was that someone said, would you do this? Would you give them Nolan Smith, the rising star who's still on a rookie deal, plus a 3rd-round pick just for TJ Watt? And then I was like, I feel like I would give up more, but I guess that.
Yeah, I was going to say that seems a little. I mean, if I'm the Eagles, I'm hitting accept in 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, no, 100%. Because to me, it's the 3rd-round pick that doesn't make sense to me. I would say make that 3rd into a 1st, or and then maybe like a
Yeah, because
contender.
I know no one has
Because
potential. He was what, second or third pick? Like he
yeah,
wasn't.
well, it's because Nolan Smith has been coming into his own year too. If you look at his numbers and his
Oh no,
progression
I
in
understand that, but I'm
playoffs,
just saying, like he's
right?
not even like your offer the first.
No,
I mean, he has first round talent. Like I thought he would go a lot higher than he ended up going when he was in the draft. But like I don't know, like we said, like look at Trevor Lawrence. He's getting paid all that money just because he was the first overall pick. Like it just comes with a little extra value with being drafted in the first round. That's all I was trying to say.
yes,
But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about it too. I would thought if you're going just purely draft picks, I feel like a first has to be in there somewhere, right?
it
especially if it's
absolutely.
a especially if it's a competing team, like that first round pick is gonna be towards the end, so
You
that kind of
know the
diminishes the value a little bit.
the the Commanders definitely should offer a pretty
Oh, I
big
know. That's
haul.
where I was coming at. I was like, I mean, we have. I mean, we already lost Mark and Alec, but I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we definitely should be on the phone at least, poking. Hey, what are we thinking here?
Yes,
For sure. I mean, that's why I said I was like, all this is leading to me to think that we're on the phone with the Bengals. We're on the phone with the Steelers. Like,
has
hey,
to be
we
right.
need an edge rusher. Like, you imagine T.J. Watt going to the Commanders and having like that Michael Parsons esque type play?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you got to imagine that's basically what his role would be. Is what Micah Parsons was with Dan Quinn. And I've said all along, like I feel like that's our one missing piece.
I mean,
I'm like,
yes.
sure,
If
there's other positions that could be better, but like that is like
so,
by far our worst.
here's a interesting take for you then. So if it was the Commanders, obviously a first round pick easily for TJ Watt because that is your biggest positional need. Because I think you guys are like ranked like near the bottom for D line. Would
Mm.
you potentially give up Scary Terry on top of a first just to get TJ Watt?
That even being talked about? I mean, I
I
know
mean,
he's in the same problem with getting a new contract.
mm-hmm.
I mean, me personally, I would not be happy with that because I actually just traded for Scary Terry to get the double stack.
Oh man.
Here, what do you think of this trade? I traded Raheem Shaheed,
Okay.
Kyle Pitts, and a fourth. And then in return, I got Scary Terry, Sinai, and a seventh.
Huh. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Kyle Pitts to begin with.
Oh,
So
I was when he first came out, but after having him for 4 years, and they're not that I don't did they they didn't pick up his did they pick up his option? I can't.
I'm not sure.
If somebody else's
Uh,
option didn't get picked up, it was a defensive guy. But
I
yeah, I don't know. Get him off
guess,
my plate. I'm tired of
you
not having him. I don't want
know,
him anymore.
I think in the long run, because Ben Sinnott is a interesting prospect for a tight end. I think for as long as Zach Ertz is there,
Well, I have
uh,
Zach Ertz too, so
I do. Okay, well then, sure, fine, good.
and Mark Andrews. So
Gosh, uh, I mean, I I think it seems pretty reasonable for the most part. Like I don't see any issue with it. You got your Scary Terry, Kyle
well, I
Pitts is
also have
gone.
Jaden Daniels, so that's why.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I understand the move, and do you feel like that's what your team needed to get over the hump?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, my worst position is still running back. But I mean my three receivers now are CD Lamb, BTJ, and Scary Terry. So
Okay.
pretty stacked there, I guess.
Yes.
With Hollywood Brown and QJ in the wings.
So it looks like not sure if this room's gonna get any more full, but we can definitely try. Guys, if you are here, go ahead and hop on in. If you're in the comments section, just join up in. Ask your questions. We will gladly answer them. More so, Mark, since I'm currently unable to use my PC at the moment, but that is okay. That is fine. I'm just here for the ride, baby. Wearing my safari hat. I'm going sniping. I'm headhunting all y'all.
Have you guys talked about the Steeler moves yet?
No.
It's Fitzpatrick for Ramsey, and then a whole bunch more then gets added.
Yeah.
So it was what? So the Steelers got Johnny Smith, Jalen Ramsey in the 7th, and then the Dolphins got Minka Fitzpatrick, a 5th, and the 7th. I believe was the total trade. Which then, I think they took that 7th and made a deal with the Giants and got Darren Waller out of retirement. Now he's going to be their tight end. So that's crazy.
Yeah. No,
I mean, how bad is the Giants organization where someone's like, I'm retired. I can't do this anymore. And then someone's like, do you want to play for us? I'm unretired.
Sounds about right.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's Darren Waller.
But at least he had some time to get healthy because I know towards the end
there,
injuries
were
mounting.
Man, I'm not drafting him
I'm not drafting
anything to do with him. Okay, here's the thing. If his playing is as good as his rapping, then he definitely belongs in waiver wire.
A lot of people were saying that because he's taken over, they think he might have the same kind of production as John O. Smith last year, but
I don't see it because how, as an athlete, even if you keep yourself in good shape, all right. The issue is,
there's gonna be a learning curve.
Yeah,
it's gonna take at least half the season before he gets the hang of certain things. It's been that long.
Correct.
I mean, look at Deshaun Watson. That guy was on top of the world. Took almost 2 years off, and then still 3 years later, probably isn't a starting quarterback in the
NFL. Let me see if I can get another guy in here. Also, hell yeah, I gotta put the stream on my TV.
That's what I said. Trey Hendrickson, I'm sure he probably wants to go somewhere. I haven't looked at him. I wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
Keats, what's up? I was going through my redraft rankings, and I think I'd rather Goff than Mahomes. See, don't get me wrong. I have Goff, and I like Goff, but like they have all new coordinators. So I mean, as much as he has all the weapons, we'll just have to see. Like, look at the Eagles. You know, they got all new coordinators, and while they started 10-1, offense didn't quite look the same. So we'll see. Like I said, I've been telling people for a while now. I think Mahomes is going to have a rebound year. I think.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think he'll be top in the NFL.
Let's not forget that Mahomes, despite his last couple seasons not living up to the elite top 3 or 4 standard, he is still a QB1 and a consistent QB1 at that. And if Rice is healthy, then yeah, prepare to see him propel himself into the top 5, top 6 category in fantasy. If Rice stays healthy, Worthy stays healthy, and Kelsey lost a few pounds, so he's clearly trying to work on his speed more. And that old geezer's got 1 year left in him, you know. Like, hey, I'm still drafting Kelsey. I'll take him for his last year. Let's ride.
I still take Kelsey too.
It's the team's DNA is a balanced team as it stands. So if Pacheco's healthy, they're probably not going to pay Pacheco big dollars after this year. They're probably going to let him walk. But they're probably
drafted his replacement anyway.
Yeah, but they're probably going to have that split backfield between him and Hunt for this year, while also working on, I said, passing. They won't do a lot of 12-man personnel, I don't think. I think they're going to stick with a 3 wide receiver set a lot of time and then split backfield. Gone are the days that the Chiefs just pass the ball like 35, 40 times a game. It's just not there anymore.
We'll see. So Anthony brings up an interesting question.
What's up? Trey would be cheaper than TJ Watt. Interesting. Think I think Mark's screen froze. There we go. There's Mark. Welcome back, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trey. Yeah, Trey would be cheaper, but I feel like he's also gonna command also similar
But I don't
money.
think he would be that much cheaper because he just got done leading the entire league in sacks last year.
True. I mean, he won what back-to-back seasons with over 17 sacks, right, or something like that.
Yep.
So the reason why he would be cheaper is obviously because he's not TJ Watt. Because TJ Watt does more. He does more than just sacks. TJ Watt is very disruptive. The problem with Trey Hendrickson is he doesn't get a lot of tackles outside of QB hits and sacks.
Yeah, but I would argue that Trey Hendrickson's better in run coverage. The one fault that I've always had with TJ is he sucks in run coverage.
See, I think he's better than Trey also at that because I mean I just don't see Trey better than like a elite pass rusher. That's all I see him for. I don't see him as a run stuffer. But who knows? Maybe Cincinnati won't trade him. Maybe TJ Watt won't trade, or Steelers won't trade TJ Watt, and everyone's just gonna stay on the respected teams. Who knows?
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if TJ Watt stayed, but I highly doubt at this point.
Let's see here. So it's 12:15. All right. If how many people do we have in the room?
We got 6.
We got 6. It's not too terrible, honestly. No, because I was thinking about starting it. Unless you had any other news you wanted to talk about. Oh, never mind. I guess he's gone now. Okay, cool. That's fine. All right, guys. This is the Eagles show. We're here to talk all about the Eagles, just the Eagles. Screw the Cowboys. Screw the Giants. Screw the Command. Oh, hey, he's back. What's up, bro? Yeah, welcome back. I was just saying great things about the Commanders. 55-23. Anyways,
Ramsey didn't want to stay in Miami. He did not.
No, of course not.
Good morning. Happy Sunday. Hey, how's it going?
Hey, welcome in. Yeah, we're. Is there any other news that you want to talk about that was of anything?
I don't know. Was there anything you saw? I don't really see anything else other than that.
The only other thing that I've seen that's somewhat recent is another player getting accused of something from some lady.
Yeah, the Bills, no first overall.
Yeah,
the Bills have the worst luck lately, I feel like.
They do. Okay,
they got mad at Ariza, and then that whole thing broke out. And then
this is a public service announcement, by the way, for all those players who are totally watching our podcast. I know they're not, but whatever.
Of course, all 6 of these people play in the NFL that are watching right now.
Obviously, y'all are all elite.
TJ Watt's coming on next week. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. But no, seriously, be careful with who you surround yourself with, your inner circle. This goes in life because as soon as you make it big, someone could always try to take you down because they get jealous. Not saying that what's being accused of him is actually real, or if it's not. If it is, then of course it needs to go through the proper channels. But you gotta be very careful because, especially for like a football player, this seems to be something that happens every year. There's always somebody doing some stupid with a female, and then it's crazy. Unless you're Tucker, who just likes to get a little tuck, if you know what I mean, at a massage parlor,
He's been hanging out with Sean Watson too long, I think.
He has.
Well, he has a 10-game suspension. I guess we can talk about that.
Yeah, well, but yeah, no, that is crazy. But no, that's kind of all the news that I have. I'm excited for week 1 because I think we're what? We are less than 2 months away now, right, from the first NFL game? I think so.
Harrison. That's his name. Maxwell Harrison.
So, yeah, but ultimately, guys, just a refresher. Yes, this mock is a Dynasty 1 QB with IDP. The IDP scoring is in the mock draft itself. If you got any questions or IDP, feel free to ask. I'll happily answer. Been doing IDP for a long time. Not as long as some of these decade-old vets, but close enough to it. And Mark here is also a great, reliable source too. And he's a Commanders fan, so he can tell you all about their amazing pass rush. Just most top of the top.
Oh, yeah. Dorian Armstrong. Let's go.
Yeah. The enthusiasm is there. I'm definitely ready for this mock. What time is it now? It is 12:19, so probably like 12:20 I can get started, and then we can just go from there. Oh, and I just so everybody knows,
You gotta drop the other teams, or what do we do? Just have them computer? They're gonna mess everything up. But we can.
I mean, I could drop them, but I don't like doing that because I feel like, then what's the point of the mock if it's not at least a 10-man league? It just kind of.
No, I get it.
Yeah, so I'll probably keep them. I get it. No one likes autos, but yeah. So
well, no, I don't really care about autos, but like when it's starters only, I feel like the auto doesn't know that. That's the only thing I was saying. Didn't we do one and there was like 6 running backs on the team?
Possibly. But it looks like we're only missing. Okay, so it looks like. I mean, if we drop it down to 8, then
better get your starting running backs early if you're in here, because
you know what? I can drop it down to 8, and then we can just go from there. I normally never like doing that, but hey, it's fine. Okay, so
you don't have to.
Well, I know, but you bring up a good point. So, all right, just so people are aware.
This means you need to get your running backs and receivers early because they're not going to be there.
Yeah, boom, there we go. Now we're full. We have 8, so we should be fine now. All right, just so everybody knows, here on Dynasty Pylon, we do love to random the draft order at least twice.
Until one of us gets the one.
Yeah, of course. Well, if it's Anthony, then I got to make sure to do it a third time because we can't have him have the third or the top spot.
Oh, ooh. Look at that.
Oh, wait, no, he got the second spot. And of course, you and I are right next to each other.
I know, right? What the heck?
Stop following me, God.
It's weird. This is kind of where I don't know. I don't like being in the upper echelon of the picks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more comfortable being like in the mid to the later parts in working drafts. I don't know. That's just me, personal opinion.
Yes, and okay, so just so people can understand how you will attack certain types of drafts, because I think this is important to talk about right before I hit go, is depending on the league side, ultimately will determine really what positions matter much. So, like, for example, if it's a super flex, it better be at least a 10-man league, because if it's 8, it makes 0 sense to grab QBs very, very early because the demand is not nearly as high as a 10 or a 12 or a 14, so league size heavily matters. Same thing with IDP. In this sense, with it being only 8 men or a 8-man league, or in this case, mock, IDP won't really need to be a huge factor unless you really want one particular guy because you should really just focus on your offense. I mean, you could go 1, maybe 2 early because it's only 8. If this was like a 12-man league or 14 and above, I'd say get your offense first, unless you're well-versed in the IDP realm. What do you think, Mark? Do you think that the league size and all that stuff really matters, or do you think you should just follow the
absolutely. Like you said, if you're in an 8-man superflex, even if the other 7 people have 2 QBs on their roster, that's only 12 QBs.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be able to find somebody with 18 starting QBs left,
All right. Yeah, no, you're right. So I'm going to start it. It looks like we're going to have 1 auto, but that's fine. Let's just get it.
So is this like regular or?
This is This should be with the IDP as well. So this should be Dynasty rankings with IDP.
Okay. Oh, so it's Dynasty. Okay.
Yes.
That changes a bit.
It does a little
Not
bit.
too
Well,
much, but
just because we are currently still in July. Once we get towards the end of July, I think that's when some of the redrafters start showing their faces. And we're starting off strong. Here we go. All right. Let's see here. We got Boomer with Jettas, Gibbs, Josh Allen. First QB taken off the board. Shocker by, of course, a auto drafter. That's fine. Man, this is kind of interesting for me. Kind of like this idea. If it works for me. Well, but who knows? You might throw a monkey wrench in there and just be absolutely terrible. Could always pick your Jaden Daniels.
Jesus.
All right.
We draft him. I clicked on the plus and it brought up his profile. I was like, what is happening?
Yeah. But no, ask away your questions, guys, because I'm currently looking at sleepers. If you want to ask them also in the mock actual chat as well,
Fatal Beast.
Yes.
Fatal Beast. Dude.
Hell yeah. And I know that we've got a couple mockers in here that are actually part of my leagues. So this is actually fun. So I got to be very careful with how I draft. Don't want to give them, too much information.
They win Lamar.
I know it's Dynasty, so that'll be fine. There we go. I'm happy with this start.
You went with Neighbors.
Yeah, dude.
Will allow me to go with the other receiver from Mark.
Of course. No, I firmly believe that once they have a quarterback that proves himself, and he actually is that guy, Neighbors will be a wide receiver 1 overall type of guy. I truly believe that he's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that when people evaluate rookies, they don't always look for all the right reasons. And some of those reasons are just because it's, look at his athletic score, or look at the talent that he's working around him in college. He's clearly way ahead of them. Sure. But there are some players that with the eye test and film test that you look at and you're like, this guy, under the right circumstance, can be truly dynamic. I mean, the way Neighbors played out his first season reminded me a little bit of Devontae Smith's first season, where he was the only guy there on a struggling team, and just give him some time and he'll really blow up. Unfortunately for Smith, unfortunately for Smith, AJ Brown was there, but in this case for the Giants, there's really no one else there to command targets. So Neighbors will be blowing up like crazy in a couple of time.
Stupid auto pick! I hate you.
With that
real right now?
bonus, that's terrible.
So
yeah, I figured that you'd pick him.
That's who I had. I was like, I just gotta get through these people, and then he picked George Kittle, so I was like, heck yeah.
Meanwhile, I go 3 straight baller wide receivers. I don't ever take it too crazy. Like, I'm so used to how crazy scoring is for Scott Fishbowl or for my leagues. That's like, man, this kind of draft just feels like a cakewalk. Oh, I'm just gonna dominate. All the ego, all the wow. But I do want to say hi to Texas fan, hi to Hakeem. Welcome on in, Boomer. It's a pleasure to see you again. What is up, guys? Man. Ooh.
Sean Jenkins.
This is tempting because I feel like he won't be there. But I think I can also wait.
You gotta take him now.
What's he gonna do?
Oh,
Rashid Rice. It's definitely not a bad pick.
For some reason, I thought I was on the clock. I was like scared for 2 seconds.
I have 2 different kind of guys that I want to get here. Both you can't go wrong with. One just happens to be younger.
Well,
But
it is
one,
Dynasty, so.
it's true. But one also actually has a quarterback now. So I'll pick that. Scary Terry.
Ooh.
Take your guy away from you. Get out of here.
Dang. I'm not gonna lie, I had him queued up.
Yeah, well, it was between him and Smith and Jigba. To be honest, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's only an 8-man mock. I don't care.
Why are you in my brain right now?
Yeah, right. Like,
those are literally the two I was looking at too. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, in the fourth
Of course,
round,
I had Scary Terry up higher, but you are right. Like, I don't know. I feel like my team outside of CD Lamb pretty young. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm definitely set for my offensive wide receiver starters. I don't need
I don't know why you had 4 of them, but sure.
Well, hey, I can start a total of 4. I got 2 flex spots. So this is nice.
I mean, you're totally correct. You have your flex and your receivers done. So.
All right. Let's see. So do we got any questions in the chat?
Oh, I was looking at O'Marion Hanson too, but I didn't know if I wanted 3 running backs.
Just here to learn how you draft for our league. Of course you are. Of course you are. Yeah. Was it?
It's Hall, Henry.
Yeah. No. You can see how I draft, or maybe I'll just purposely draft like horrible, and I'll just start picking like random like kickers and whatnot, just to throw everybody off.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. There are some times when we do this, and I'm like, I just want to be completely in left field with some of my picks. Sometimes.
This is interesting for me. I could go really young here, or I could go proven. This is so fascinating to me.
I forgot. I was like, damn, my team was looking nice, and then I'm like, oh yeah, 8 people.
I think I'll go one.
Like, there's no way my team would ever look this good in a 12-man league. There's just no way.
Honestly, though, I could also get
Ooh, you want Josh
See, but the problem is that it's still only 1 QB. So it's like I'm debating going QB in the 6th round because this would also be a sweet spot to get one, but also having your starting backs filled out would be also pretty handy. So I'm not 100% certain yet. Because
I know I keep thinking that too, but I'm like, especially with some QBs that are
6th round evaluation on either Burrow or Hurts is actually very good, even in 1 QB, because it's Dynasty. If you're talking like redraft, I mean, you could still get them in the 6th round, I'll be honest. If you do that, it's still a good pick. But I think because it's Dynasty, I like the idea of going for one of these guys that are yet to be proven, and I'll go straight up with Judkins because I have Judkins rated higher than Henderson.
Come on, man. Are you for real right now?
That's why. Do you not see the little name tag under me? It says sniper for a reason.
Oh.
I'm just sniping your picks.
Thought I was set, but no.
Yeah. And just like the Eagles in real life, that will smack you around. I'll smack you around this mock silly. Micah Parsons. Interesting.
Oh, there went Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. I went defensive end over QB. Interesting. What a shock move that was.
Shocker. Yeah, no. And then I got, honestly, this will be interesting for me. Terry McMillan. Crosby. Yeah, I forget. Anthony loves going defense early, which is perfectly fine. This gives you guys also a look into how people are experienced with IDP. Sometimes
is there a psychology move with some moves too?
Yes.
Because you're like, I can go defense here. That causes other people to suddenly think defense, and that frees up other players.
There is a psychology, and it usually trips up people who are not as experienced in IDP. So if you've done IDP for a long time, you look at it as if you go early on any defensive player, you're only doing it because you particularly want that player, and there's no other reason to it. So like for example, he's getting these two guys because again, he's following the formula of the scoring that we have for the mock. He's also following the fact that it's only 16 rounds, that there's no bench. Like you just gotta be patient and relax. You don't have to immediately jump on getting all these IDP guys. You can
Right.
definitely focus on getting your offense filled first. That's usually the go-to that people recommend for people who are new to IDP, and I do encourage it.
They're both here, but I gotta go with what's familiar. Parsons and
See,
Watt? What?
yeah, no, that's great. Now is the time where I pick Jalen Hurts because this is such
You
a good,
should. You're
yeah,
welcome. I hope
because
that happens for you.
yeah, because that's just such a good value there. And now I can look at this, and now I can talk about getting an appeal. Instead of getting a high-end defensive end, I will get Zaire Franklin, the number one linebacker.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I think I shall take the number one guy who's going to ball it up.
Kyle Hamilton. So I want you to make a case because I've been asked this from some of our viewers in the past on Sleeper. Make a case to me why you would want to go a high-end DB over, let's say, a high-end linebacker or even a high-end defensive lineman. What would be a good reason to grab your guy in a dynasty setting like a Kyle Hamilton?
So I think it depends on, obviously, it depends on scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know. For us, like, we have points for pass deflects. We have points for, obviously, interceptions, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Tackles, solo tackles get more than a half tackle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. So the way ours works, like I had Joseph one week and he got that pick six, and that pick six alone got him like 25 points.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more of a gamble, I feel like, sometimes to go with certain DBs, but the upside can swing a week for you in one play.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just want that. Okay, so I'll try and make a case now for it.
But to iterate though, I prefer
Sure.
safeties more than I would ever go an actual DB. But that's just my opinion.
God, there's so many good guys here, bro. You know what? I'm tempted. I think I will. I think I'll pull the trigger on that. Yep. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Sure. Sure. Let's just see what happens. Henderson. There we go. See, for me, I went with the strat that I'm doing today, just to showcase people, is I'm going for the high-end linebacker upside and then still getting a good, very good defensive lineman as my third pick. Because there are 3 different ways to tackle IDP in Dynasty that I feel like can be effective just depending on scoring. One is like the way that you mentioned, which is where, in your case, you went heavy, or I'll say heavy, but it's really you filled out your defensive lineman with 2 studs, absolute beasts, D lineman. Then you got yourself a stud DB, and then you went for a stud linebacker. That is a appropriate way to do things, where it's more of a balanced approach, where you personally pick too high in a position that isn't fully dominant, like where it's littered with tons of elite talent, which would be defensive line. There is not, if you look at points alone, there's not enough defensive linemen outside of maybe the top 10 to 12 that really compete for anything that's like in levels of linebackers or top end DBs outside, because DBs will score more than defensive linemen, generally speaking. It's not always true. There are always exceptions to the rules, and linebackers will always score the most out of anybody. Again, it's heavily depending on scoring. So you went for that approach. I went for more of a let's get 2 top linebackers and then let's work on a defensive line approach. So you can tackle it like that balance. You can tackle it where you're heavy in one position, or you could tackle it where you're just going for pure most valuable player of that position, and you just go from there. So that would be something like, okay, with current scoring, I'm chasing this guy because scoring dictates that this guy should outperform the rest of these guys that I currently have listed. You could also do it that way. Either way, all I will let you guys know is that when it comes to IDP, you're going to find that there are a lot more linebackers that you can choose from than, let's say, highest end DBs or highest end defensive linemen. Do you think that that's fair to say?
No, I agree. I usually think about it the same kind of way.
My God. No way. I know if frickin' Martin was here, he would have sniped this guy a long time ago.
Yeah.
I already know. So go ahead. Don't be sniper. Good. Let's go.
Yeah, see, I
And
like him too, but this is also Dynasty, so I've been like realizing like, oh, I got TJ Watt, and I'm like, oh crap, that guy's 31.
yeah. And then I got Van Ginkel to round up the other defensive lineman. And no, this is not always like how I like to draft. This is just an example. Whenever we do mocks with IDP, I love to show different examples. Try to do them every show. That way people get an idea of how to roster construct with defensive players in mind. That's the way that I look at it. And then we have like Hakeem over here. He went Myles Garrett forevermore. So he went two very strong, talented in their respective position, lineman and linebacker. And then he focused on getting very damn good DBs because he knows that the DB pool typically especially when you want to talk about safeties, because once the top safeties go, it's very hard to dictate as far as cornerbacks who's going to be that elite, talent there. So that is interesting. Yeah, but to answer the question way before, a case of why going DB early is exactly for the point of you want that advantage where you can pick value at defensive line. So if you can pick value at defensive line, then you can also get very good linebackers regardless almost anywhere in the draft. It depends on how deep your league is. Like mine is, like I said, 35 rounds. So freaking you have to be really cognizant and focused, and it's a lot of fun. So DB, if you're going top DBs, it's kind of like going the best way that I like to compare it to offensive stance is if you're going in a super flex, QB, and then tight end, because you get your first two picks are QBs, and then you get one stud tight end, and then you're fine for like the rest of your draft. You can do whatever you want there. That's how I look at that. Okay, I am on the clock.
You are on the clock.
Oh, how wonderful. You know what? Ooh, actually, wait. I need to look at that too. Sure. Why not? Why not get Bobby Wagner just because? Dude may be old, but who cares? Dude is tackle machine. All right, that sums that up. Do I care for that? Now I just go for there. Since I know that this is, you know what? I don't care. Let's get my boy Ingram, and there we go. I almost picked Kelsey, but then I remember that it's Dynasty, and if it's only starters, then there's no point for me to do my classic Kelsey and Isaiah Likely stack. I call it a stack. It's not really a stack, but for Dynasty, it sure is fun because we know Mark Andrews ain't gonna be there next year. So,
right?
Yes, sir. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the chat now because I have not looked at the chat at all. I wonder if we have any more comments. Let's see here. What's up?
Oh yeah, we probably do.
Yeah, we do. So you went all elite wide receiver, but now your chances of an elite running back are low. I think you're just throwing us off on purpose. 100%. But you understand that in Dynasty, if I have these 4 elite guys, and then my 2 running backs aren't bad. Josh Jacobs, pretty solid, and Judkins is going to be an elite, I think, top 8 running back. I'm not saying year 1. I feel like year 2 or year 3, he could really pop off and be that guy because I like Judkins so much. I have Hampton, Genty up there fighting for like a elite spot, and I have Judkins finishing still as a high-end RB1. So that's fine. Keeps going high in a lot of mocks. I hope he pans out. I do too. I do too. I think that he absolutely has the talent. All right, so now I need to pick my DBs. Ooh, wait, is this guy starting? If so, he is. I forget how the Ravens like to run their safeties. Because Starks is actually interesting here because he's a starting safety and a rookie. And that defense, they do a lot of interesting like packages. I think, though, it would be fun to pick him. I think I'll pick Witherspoon first. And I will take a shot on Starks as well. I think that would be interesting from a dynasty perspective because Witherspoon has proven himself to be a stud. I don't got anything bad to say about Witherspoon. He's really a solid candidate, and if someone could get him this late, that's actually pretty good.
Judkins keeps going high in a lot of mocks. I hope he pans out. I think a lot of people do. He was my second favorite running back after the draft, which is to where he went.
Oh,
Anthony said, I forgot we had ID.
Yeah. Oh, just so people also know, a good thing to realize is if you are going to go cornerback in your draft, I highly recommend that you do things like nickel corners because they are often most of the time on the field. Like they'll see like 60, 70, 75% snaps. And that's because of the way that current NFL is. And what's good about it is that they'll be in the box a lot. They can be sent on blitzes. They get a lot of pass breakups, tackles. It's like having a Jeremy Chin who's a safety but is often down in the box as a linebacker. When you have those athletes who are either hybrids or
just realized we weren't sharing this entire time.
Oh, Mark. Send a freaking Commanders fan to run the show. Jeez.
Oh, man.
All right, let's start.
Any teams stand out?
Well, any team stand out? Well, obviously mine's the best team, so come on now.
Oh no, this one right here, this is the worst.
Oh, probably a hunt. You know what? You're right.
I mean, you got Trey Hendrickson. We don't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, awful.
Can Zach Bond really live up to what he did last year? Oh no.
Nah. Oh, for sure.
Same thing with Van Greenfield.
I feel like Jane Daniels will have a sophomore slump, so he'll just be like, bottom tier. Nah.
Yeah,
no,
which one you want to go with first? We go with Anthony's team first.
Sure, we can do Anthony's team first, and then we can do Texan fan next to him, and then we'll just go down the line.
Saquon Barkley, followed up with Nico Collins, and then Lad McConkey, and then you got Hampton, Derrick Henry, Crosby, max or minimum Crosby. Roquan Smith, he gets tackles. Bo Nix is his QB. Not had bad being that late too. Trey. God, why can I not think of Tyler Hawkinson? Not my brain breaking.
Come on,
TJ Hawkinson. Good lord.
Yeah, there you go.
My brain is broken. Jared Verse, nice defensive line pickup. Buda Baker, Mike Evans, Xavier McKinney, David Montgomery, George Pickens, and then he finished it off with the homer pick of Frankie Louvu.
Which is a great linebacker pick at that spot because what you guys got to understand is that he also comes in for blitzes. So a blitzing linebacker who is that gifted at it is a really fun pick because now you're looking at adding sacks to the mix and tackles for a loss to the mix. That makes it fun. He also was one of the higher graded ones last year, I believe. All right, let's look at Texan
I
fan.
feel like overall it's not a bad team, but from a dynasty standpoint, you didn't really get much like young pieces outside of Hampton and
Yeah.
Compton.
So it's more of a win now team, but to be honest, if it's an 8-man league, they're all gonna be like.
Oh yeah, I mean if you're keeping the 8-man team,
You're only
you got Texan
looking for
fans.
advantages. All right, so let's see what my boy Texan fan did, so that way I can roast his team and tell him how trash he is. All right, let's take a look. Jamar Chase. Wow, just chasing last year's number 1, huh? Wow.
Well, he was auto drafted, so.
Oh, well, that's true. He was nervous to play you, obviously. Trey McBride. I love Trey McBride. Weird thing is, he does not score touchdowns. It's really weird. Like he's like allergic to it, and I guess he was in college too. It's very weird for a top end tight end like that to not have.
Yeah, but
like
at least he has the productivity to go with it, unlike Kyle
He does.
Pitts, who didn't score
He does.
touchdowns or have productivity.
Yeah, it's like if he could have a season where he does 8 touchdowns, he's gonna beat Brock Bowers that year as a tight end just because of his production. Jane Daniels, great pick 3rd round. If you're going for that early QB, Jonathan Taylor, Brees Hall. I love the upside for those two guys. So running backs I get. Rome Odunze. I feel like Rome will have a much better year. I feel like year 3 is going to be his breakout year, but I think that it's still a solid pick as your wide receiver too. Xavier Worthy. I literally got done talking to a guy who was doing a fantasy live stream while on a scooter last night.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, so and we were talking about Xavier Worthy and how he's a good flex spot. RJ Harvey, as long as Sean Payne doesn't do anything stupid to that backfield where it's so like heavy split carries, RJ Harvey could be an absolute monster year 1 on that Denver Broncos team. I really do believe it. I'm not scared of his age. Neither should any of you be scared of his age in Dynasty. He really is truly a great pound running back. DK Metcalf, solid for 4. Nick Bosa. I've been fading Nick Bosa a lot more, and I think it has to do more so with his age, which is weird because he's only 27. So it shouldn't be because of his age. I think it's to me that he just doesn't get enough big splash plays for me for as high as he's going. Like, tell me why in the same round I can get Trey Hendrickson or Jared Verse. Heck, I bet you could get Brian Burns in that round too if you wanted to, and he would be more explosive for the sack part. Not that Nick Bosa is bad, I just don't have him as highly rated. Ernest Jones, solid overall linebacker. I also like Knight, who sits next to him. That's also a good guy if you are wanting like a deeper LB2 upside. Jonathan Grenard, again, someone that I like actually more than Nick Bosa. I like Grenard more than Nick Bosa. Jalen Carter, obviously, that's a great D tackle pick. Pat Surtain, last year's defense player of the year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Derek Stingley. I like it and then Aziz Al Shahir, great linebacker overall. I mean that the offensive room is very nice. The defensive room, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit weird, I guess, because he went for 3 defensive linemen and one of them is a D tackle. And unless that D tackle performs at a high level, it's very hard for them to be great for fantasy value, unless you're forced to pick defensive tackle. But it's not a bad team. It's got a mixture of really young, a lot of young actually, and then some dominant players. So yeah, it's definitely a pretty good team. All right, you want to do Boomer next?
Sure, Boomer 690. He went with Justin Jefferson, then he went with Genty, and then BTJ, Marvin Harrison, Kyron Williams, and McMillan. Not bad. You got 2 second-year guys who were probably number 1 receivers. You got Jefferson, number 1 receiver. And McMillan, a rookie, who's probably going to be the number one receiver. So,
I see all the mistakes. Or George. Anyways, continue.
and then you have Genty, who's probably going to be the most productive running back rookie, just because he's the only one who's slated as the RB1. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, you got Kyron Williams. I mean, I know the production's there. He's probably going to be a 3-down back, but, like, I don't know. Sean McVay is very iffy when it comes to running backs. So, 2 weeks in, we might not hear from Kyron Williams ever.
It always is possible, but I don't know. I don't mind it.
And then he started the defensive side off with a bang, getting Aiden Hutchinson, who I do like, although he is coming off of a pretty major injury. So we'll just have to see. I mean, you could do a lot worse than getting Patrick Mahomes in the 8th round.
Yeah. No. I actually really like his linemen, to be honest. Aiden Hutchinson is a beast, and Will Anderson.
Yeah. So he got the 1 and 2 pick from the draft, or 3 pick. Oh, sorry. Hutchinson was somebody. Oh, that was Walker. With Hutchinson. But then he got Will Anderson.
There you go. English hard.
Very steadily defensive end. He should be good. And then he gets Derwin James, Randy Colston Loveland, tight end.
Mm-hmm.
We got Nick Benito and Bobby Okereke.
Oh,
very stud linebackers right there. We got Daniil Hunter, very good. Tellus, and then he ended it with Coop.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you think of his team?
I feel like it's an interesting mix. I feel like defensive side, outside of the ends, he kind of went, we need to win now. But then on the offense outside of Jefferson, it's kind of like, if they have big years, this team could be really good. I just don't know if Marvin Harrison breaks out. We don't know what we're going to get with McMillan. I mean, I think BTJ should be consistent. We'll see what he gets. And obviously, Justin Jefferson doesn't matter who's throwing him the ball. He's gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has very high potential, especially year one. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. The defensive line I like, and I do like that he has a couple guys that are also dual eligible, which makes it really fun for building a roster construction.
Oh yeah, I love getting the linebackers /
Yeah.
To me, they're very versatile. You can throw them whichever one.
There are some guys that did not get drafted, obviously because of how short this draft was. That I loved are dual eligible. They're good for later picks. I ain't gonna say names while Texans fan and Hakeem are here, because then they're gonna star them and then they're gonna snipe them from me. But y'all can mess on some of those later IDP picks, and I got you. But his defensive line, very solid. He got Derwin James, who is a consistent tackling machine, who pretty much is as consistent as it gets. Plus, he gets sacks. Like that's the fun thing. He also gets sacks too as a D. So that just tells you what kind of defense that the Chargers like to run and how they like to put him down in the box a lot, and they send him on blitzes. And Nick Bonito really came to his own last year. If you were to look at his metrics before last year, his problem was always the block shed and the efficiency of like QB hit to sack ratio. That was like a big problem with him. But last year he just exploded and he became very trustworthy. There's a guy that I trust a lot who runs a show that's, he also does IDP, and he's very, very good with the numbers. And Nick Bonito is one of those guys that I wish didn't rise so high, but he definitely has that upside of like 13 sacks this season. I could see that. You just kind of have to trust him and hope that he can do it against top end offensive linemen that he would be against. Bobby Okereke, I really like Bobby. He had a down year last year, but that doesn't stop me from believing that he can still be the Giants' #1 linebacker, which goes to show when it comes to defensive players, it is not a bad idea, guys, to pick players on terrible teams that are terrible offensively, because then that means their defense will be on the ball up there longer, and then means more opportunity. Josh Metellus, love the guy, always have. I like it for his dual eligibility, and Adrian Cooper, a rising star in Green Bay. So yeah, overall, I like his defense a lot, and his offense. It does have a bit of question marks, but I think it's Dynasty. I think the defense will help carry it. So I think defensively, it's actually a little bit better than the offense, I think. So I think the defense will actually carry this team a little bit more.
Well, that's why I said his defense is we're going to win now.
Yeah.
Like, that's because it's good. But then I
Yeah.
look at his offense and I
It's
said,
not-
I mean, not that it's bad.
not
I do
perfect,
like
but
most of these players.
Yeah.
But like I said, McMillan, don't know what you're going to get. Harrison, I feel like could be boom or bust. Genty, don't know what we're going to get.
And then we'll do Hakeem next, my other league mate. So we can really roast him. Here I go. All right, Hakeem, listen up, bud. You've been away from fantasy football for a while, so I know you guys shake off the old man dust that's just been collecting. So I'll try to be gentle, so you're in a nice safe space. All right, okay, good. All right, Jahmyr Gibbs. Well, that's a no-brainer. He's literally a top 3 running back easily for this year. I truly believe that. You went for 2 tight ends despite it not being a tight end premium. That is interesting to me. So you're deciding Brock Bowers and George Kittle, just in case if one of them, isn't panning out, the other one will for sure make up for it. Anyone see, man, you are going for that upside. Hey, if he's healthy, he's easily like RB1 potential. That is true. That is very, very true. But imagine if he gets hurt, then you just like screwed yourself there. T. Higgins, a glorified wide receiver 1 on a team where he's actually the wide receiver 2, and you got Joe Burrow. Those 2 picks right there, I like that you got them back to back. Those are my favorite picks so far. I mean, Brock Bowers in the second round is also freaking crazy to think about too, but not tight end premium, so I guess it makes sense. Tyreek Hill, I'm actually I'm higher on Tyreek Hill, so I actually don't hate this pick. I know a lot of people who are saying Tyreek Hill will make you cry in your pillow at night because he'll just screw you over so hard. Pause. Myles Garrett, great pick. Love me some Myles Garrett. Fred Warner, solid overall linebacker. Antoine Winfield, a great DB who, 2 years ago was the DB1. So that's awesome. Devontae Adams, that's a great spot you got him in. I noticed now your wide receiver room is actually kind of getting older, though, because you got Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. But it's like a win now. This is a win now roster. More I look at it, this is turning into a win now roster, and you're just going to hopefully build in the draft to get younger. Jesse Bates, Julian Love. Again, he went heavy on the DB, and he got some solid DBs. And then Jalen Walker. There's some youth there. I think in time he'll come into his own. Alex Singleton. Let's see how he looks, buddy, coming off that injury. But he is a tackling monster. So if he's the way he used to be, maybe he'll be like CMC and he'll finish like as a top stud linebacker. And Patrick Queen, the Steelers' #1 linebacker. He'll be wearing the green dot. I like his neighbor on the other side of the linebacker side almost as much because I think he has more efficiency metrics than Patrick Queen does. But I like Patrick Queen. Overall, this is a win now team. Interesting that you went 2 tight ends, and that it's kind of heavily.
To me, it's interesting you went 2 tight ends and it was Kittle who's the second.
Yeah. To me, it's kind of like he's hoping.
You had TJ Hawkinson available. You had Sam Laporta.
I'll be honest. I thought there was a tight end premium. Of course you did.
Okay.
L, Hakeem. L. Okay, look. Your team is like if this was a best ball team, I'd be pretty happy. If this was best ball, this is like a walk out of the park. If this is dynasty, I'm a bit worried about the wide receivers. I'm a bit worried that what if CMC gets hurt? What if George Kittle misses a little bit of time? Because it seems to be that George Kittle misses time. I almost feel like every year he at least misses like at least one to 2 games. So he'll miss a bit of time. Tyreek Hill, I hope he's fine. Devontae Adams, I think Adams will be fine. This is just a win now team, so it worries me in the future for dynasty. But in an 8-man league, I think you are wanting to just focus more so on the aspect of I want to win now. So I get it. It's not a bad team. As compared to your league over there in Texas fan, I don't know. I think Texas really is a bigger threat than you, bud. I'm just saying, big dog. You need to shake off the rust a little bit more and come mock with me more often, big dog. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, all right. How about you talk about your team? And unless you have anything else you want to say about Hakeem's team.
No, I think you said it pretty accurate. It's a win now team.
Yeah, okay.
It's got pretty good potential. I mean, got Myles Garrett for crying out loud. So.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. Laugh now, cry later. I love it. All right, yeah. So why don't you talk about your team and then just give us all of the gloating.
How about
probaciousness?
I'll read out my team and then you can talk about it, and then you can read out your team and I'll talk about yours.
Sure. Why not?
Okay. So first round will be I went Robinson, and then Lamb, and then Bucky Irvin, and then JSN. I got Sam Laporta, and then I started the whole defensive thing, and I was like, we're going to take Parsons, followed by Watt, followed by Hamilton, followed by Bolton.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I guess I should take a QB now. So I took Herbert.
Yeah.
And then I got Cooper DeJean, Brian Burns, and then I got Caleb Johnson, who I like a lot in Pittsburgh. And then I got Carson Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I'll have to ask you about that one because that last name makes me think that he's going to appear in that Spaceballs 2 movie. I
think he's going to ball out. He's basically the number one linebacker in Cleveland because Jock may never play again. So
really,
and then I still needed some more defensive line help. So then I got Walker, who I think is kind of coming into his own a little bit. And then I capped it off with needing another flex. So I got Jordan Madison.
Interesting that you just to wait so long to your last pick to finish out your offense. That is interesting. Outside of the guy with the most amazing last name that I've seen in a long time, since Yun Ho Shu or Show or whatever his name is, the kicker for the Falcons. All right. 1 second. There we go. Am I back? Am I good? Perfect. Yeah. All right, cool. Anyways, so outside of that guy, all right, let's see. Bijan, love that you got him at the 106. That's great. CeeDee Lamb in the second, pretty good. Bucky Irving. I was debating between Bucky and Garrett Wilson, so I'm glad that you made that pick easy for me. So I think you've got 2 amazing running backs, and you got the consensus number 1 for this year's running back. How often is that consensus actually true? Next to none, but it doesn't hurt to have, especially since both your running backs are young and your wide receivers aren't old either. So you're fine there. We'll see. My only worry with Njigba is actually not him because I think that he will be fine. And my worry is more so the QB situation because I don't trust who do I not trust in that team? Jalen Milroe and Sam Darnold. Like, did he just benefit purely because of that scheme that is over there with the Minnesota Vikings?
My biggest thing with JSN is not even his QB; it's the offensive line.
Well, they did improve it a little bit, though.
But they're still young, and there's a learning curve. There is. And my issue with that is, like, Sam Darnold has proven he can't play with people in his face.
So we'll just have to see. I don't think Jackson is a top 8 wide receiver this year. I think if they actually focus more on the O-line help and actually draft better QB for next year, I think they'll be fine.
But to get a number 1 receiver who's only 23 in the 4th round.
Like I said, I'm not hating because, like I said, I had Scary Terry next to him in my rankings, so it's like it's fine. Like I'm not hating on it. My only worry is the QBs, but that's why, again, that's mainly the only reason why I had Scary Terry above him was just the QB situation because I don't know when that would actually be resolved with that O line. Laporta, I love where you got him. It's fascinating to see someone go. Actually, several teams went tight end early, all the way through the first 5 rounds. I mean, I guess it's really only 3 teams, but one of them took 2 because he thought it was a tight end premium. What a goober! Anyways, Micah Parsons, T.J. Watt. Okay, your offense is already solid, but your defense. You're talking about how you have such a advantage having Parsons and T.J. Watt. That's a huge advantage. Then you got Kyle Hamilton as a stud, potentially DB1 overall. And then you got Nick Bolton, who, even if I'm not the highest on him, who cares? Nick Bolton is still a solid linebacker. So you're like that D line alone and that DB makes up for anything. Like, if you believe in Nick Bolton that high, that's fine because with the way your roster is constructed, you're not taking a risk when you pick that. And then you got Justin Herbert, a great way to really round out that offense until you take Caleb and Addison later. Then you got Cooper DeJean. You want some white cornerback? Where are they at? Which is great. And then you got Brian Burns, which makes me wonder, man, why'd you guys pick Brian Burns, bro? You already got 2 of the most stud linemen. You don't need a third. You're fine.
Yeah, but I needed a lineman, and you have the flex. So.
Oh yeah, true. No, that's fair. Caleb Johnson. I think Caleb Johnson will have a very good overall year 1. And as he progress, I see him kind of coming into his own. I know some people that I've talked to, they think one of these running backs is going to bust, and people seem to want to think Caleb Johnson will after year 1. I don't think he's a Najee Harris where his efficiency goes down the toilet after year 1. And then Carson, knowing that he's the middle linebacker, the starting middle linebacker, makes it very appealing. So I guess Jeremiah Owusu is not gonna. Is that what I'm understanding? Is that he's not gonna?
Well, Jock is out already for the season completely.
Okay.
And there's a consensus he may never play again.
Oh, that bad, huh?
He had to have neck surgery. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So if he wears the green dot, here's what I'll say about that. If he's wearing the green dot, then if you're the only one who knows that in your league, then that's a steal. Trayvon Walker, again, you really loved defensive line on this freaking in this mock because you have.
They can also double as linebackers. So.
Well, no, of course. I ain't hating. I'm just saying that's so funny to see someone just dominate the shit out of linemen. And Jordan Addison, again, your defense is so strong and it's so sack happy that if those go off like every week, yeah, you're probably going to be borderline going to the championship. Like, if not going there, just because that defense is so formidable. And the offense is also solid too. Like, this is just a well-constructed roster that people should really look at. So, yeah, he has the advantage. Plus, how often are you going to see someone have like a Brian Burns, a Parsons, and a Watt all on the same team? That seems very unlikely to happen. But if it does happen, it's great.
You say that, but on my dynasty team, I have Watt, Hamilton, Bolton, Burns, and Carson.
Hey, I think it's solid. So overall, yeah, this is borderline like a champion team right here. That if everything goes right, and let's say Watt doesn't miss any time, you could definitely see this team making a serious push for years to come. All right, that's enough gloating the freaking Commanders fan here. He'll probably lose in a championship game just like his Commanders. So why don't you talk about my team now? I'll read them out, and then you can go from there. All right. Okay. All right. So for your champion Philadelphia team, I rounded up with good old Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Scary Terry McLaurin, Josh Jacobs, Quinshawn Judkins, Jalen Hurts, Mr. Tush Push himself, Tush my push, pause, Zaire Franklin, Zach Bond, his name is Bond, James Bond. I wish his name was James. That joke would hit harder. Trey Hendrickson, for Oluwakan, for Forsade Oluwakan, Andrew Von Ginkel, Bobby Wagner, Evan Ingram, Devin Witherspoon, and the rounding up, take it with the rookie shot on the prayer, Malik Starks. Maliki Starks.
Hey, Malik Stark's not a bad pickup because
No, it's not.
because of an injury, he's being thrust into the starting strong safety next to Kyle Hamilton.
I thought he was free safety, but if he is strong safety, that's fine. Because I think the way that the Ravens, I forget, but I think the Ravens play their safeties a little bit different than a lot of the NFL does. Because typically strong safety is the one that you want over free safety. But I think that they use them more so down almost like in nickels. What's up?
Oh, I was just saying how long St. Brown was. He's only 25.
Yeah, I know. He's amazing. He's my favorite wide receiver outside of Jettas. I have Jettas, then him, and then I have I guess I'm not as high on Jamar Chase. I like Jamar Chase, I think like 4 or 5. But my 1 and 2 are Jettas and Raw. Anyways, tell me about my trash ass team so we can get on out of here.
So we really went heavy on the receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody needs a receiver, this is the team to come to, or a linebacker, because good lord, got all the linebackers too.
Yeah.
What can you say? Obviously, St. Brown, top receiver. Malik Neighbors, if he continues his trajectory, top receiver. Garrett Wilson, he's probably also in like 24.
Mm-hmm.
Terry McLaurin's the oldest guy, and he's 29, so that's not bad.
Nah.
The one negative I might have on this team is running back. But I mean, you got what I think could be the top running back in Jenkins, followed up with a steady Jacobs. That's not the worst.
Nah.
Jalen Hurts, great pick up there. Can run the ball. Got the push still in action.
Yeah.
And then you got Mr. Dependable, Zaire Franklin. You got, obviously, we'll see if Bond can pick it up 2 years in a row, but I don't see any reason why he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Hendrickson. We'll see if he stays or where he lands. That could be a steal that late. Aloakon is obviously Mr. I'll tackle anything near me.
Mm-hmm.
Van Winkle came out of nowhere last year, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. I've been watching his progression, so I knew he was going to pop, especially with Phillips out.
Yeah, so we'll see what he does. He could be really good. Bobby Wagner, again, Mr. Dependable. Until he's 50, he'll probably be tackling people.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Ingram, good solid. I mean, you went 2 tight end too. Oh no, that's your only tight end. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah. If I would have won 2, then I would have got Isaiah Likely as like my next pick.
Yeah. So you went Evan Ingram, not bad. I think he'll get targets. We'll see if he can get in the end zone because he's also been another tight end who gets targets but never seems to get in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
You got Devin Witherspoon. Hopefully they don't go away from him because he's so good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But not a bad pickup. And then again, Malachi Starks. I really like him coming out. And like I said, he's being thrust into the number 1 role. So I think you got a good, like I said, outside of maybe running back, pretty good team.
Well, gee, thanks. You know, yeah. Like I said, when I was deciding, between Jacobs, Cooks, and I think Henderson. Because, I could go 2 rookie running backs, knowing that they're both going to be their starting running back to their team. Or let's just get Jacobs, because Jacobs is just very, very reliable. And he'll be good for at least another couple, like 2-3 years. So
He is, but he's 27 already. So
oh yeah, no, I know. Trust me. I think
like
by the
running
time
back
that
lifespan, you know.
oh no, I know. I think by the time that he's 30 is when he will fall off a cliff. So I'll just use the advantage of having him now for a year or two, and then trade him off right as his peak is about to dip, and then do what I can there. That's how I like to use some of those older running backs. Is keep them for 1 or 2 years, and then I just trade them off while they'll still have like at least another good year in them to win now team, and then just get picks. It's just a carousel to me, running backs when it comes to dynasty. But yeah, but no, overall, well, thank you for the fair rating. I appreciate it. And my linebackers are going to go toe to toe with your defensive linemen.
The linebackers are all kind of up there in age. So.
Up there in age. But, like, come
30,
on now.
29, 29, 28.
Linebackers
Oh,
are
wait.
different.
35.
Yeah, listen. Linebackers, though, are one of those positions to where they can be good for so long. So long. You don't need to just, when it comes to dynasty, have linebackers that are like early 20s. You can make the argument for DBs, absolutely DBs, and defensive linemen. As we know, you kind of treat it similar to tight ends. Give them 3 years and they'll come into their own. So linemen, I don't think they last nearly as long as linebackers, but I feel like linemen can last just as long, if not longer, than DBs. So, yeah. But anyways, that's what I gotta say. Is there anything else that you want to say real quick? You want to give a shout out to anybody?
I mean, shout out for you guys for holding it down while I was on vacation.
Oh, well, yeah, no problem. How was your vacation, by the way?
It was good. It was fun. Very, very cool. It was like 50s, 40 degrees. I liked it. Then I come back here and now I'm like dying. Ugh.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah, well, no, shout out to you guys, obviously, for being in chat who are still here. I don't know why y'all are still here. Go do some crazy. I don't know. Go enjoy life, I guess. Anyways, I got nothing else to say.
Zion for coming in. Thanks, Anthony. Yeah. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Jorge. Kintz. Thanks for coming in and being in the draft. Appreciate it, as usual.
Of course. Well, hey, guys. All I want to say is, again, thank you for coming to the Morning Spike on Dynasty Pylon. Fly, Eagles, fly. Woo, I could say it because Byron.
No more fly, Eagle, fly.
I know. Eventually, Martin's going to just come on here and be like, that's it. I'm done with you. Get off the show.
Maybe. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll be back Tuesday with the Bears show. And then Wednesday, we should be back with Dynasty Pylon. And then, obviously, we'll be back here again next Sunday. So,
yes, sir.
Again. See you guys later.
See you guys.